The March Legendary banner is finally here, and I'm honestly not sure who we're going to get. I think there's a lot of options, right? We could get like, I think the most basic option would be like Yato Male Korin, or maybe like a Red Dagger Soth, or like Red Mage Sorin. Maybe we even get like an engaged character. I'm not really sure. But let's just jump in and see what we actually get. I think that's Three Houses music. Oh, it's Yuri. His art looks really good. Wow, we're actually getting Legendary Yuri. Yuri Bird is going to be very happy. So let's see. We have a Red Dagger Infantry with a Wind Blessing, giving attack boost. Oh, I'm kind of scared. I'm really scared because Yuri is still really good, and it's been quite a while since he came out. So, are we still gonna have a Kanto God here? Oh my gosh, I am attack speed Hexblade, Fetters of Dromi. Oh my gosh. Oh, I am nervous. We're about to run into another Yuri meta. Okay, let's start off at the very top with his weapon, Abyssal Blade. Okay, so overall, what does this weapon do? We're getting Slaying, we're getting +5 to all stats, we're getting Offensive No Follow-Up, we're getting 20% true damage based off speed, that does work with AoEs, and we're getting 30% damage reduction against the first attack. This seems decent, like it has all the things that you really need in a weapon, but it doesn't have anything that like really stands out to me yet. The 20% true damage is obviously very good. We just got Katie and Lynn not too far back who had this, and it made her a very powerful AoE option. So I could see this being very good for Yuri, especially in something like Ether Raids where you can run a very powerful AoE build to kind of like take things out with hit and run. The thing that isn't here though is I don't see Kanto and I don't see extra movement, which is what really made base Yuri so powerful. So let's keep going. We do have Foul Play here, which is a good sign because that is something that gives him a lot of support options and mobility options. Now we have a new A skill. New A skills are always very interesting, especially since we've gotten Finish, which has just kind of pushed the power level so high. So let's see what we got here, right? We have essentially adaptive damage, but it is an active buff, which means that Brave Crom can take that, which is really scary. And then we have attack speed +7, but you have to have a bonus active on the unit, which I don't always love. And the reason for that is because if you run into something that doles bonuses, like a lull or like just, you know, dull all whatever, that can turn it off. So you really do need a bonus outside of stat bonuses to be able to really rely on this. But I will say this is pretty strong, right? Having an AoE that can do adaptive damage it sounds horrifying. So that is a very powerful option. Okay, then we have Seal Speed 4 once again. They do seem to be giving this to daggers quite a bit. We got this on Legendary Shez in December, and now Yuri has it as well. It's a pretty good skill, but it's not amazing in my opinion. It's really only shines when you need a ton of speed, which someone like Shez does. Okay, let's check out Fetters of Dromi because this is really what's going to determine if Legendary Yuri is going to be a meta unit or not. So the first thing I see, enables Kanto 2. That is really, really good, right? That is just ridiculously good. Whenever you can have Kanto 2 all the time, it's extremely powerful, especially on a ranged unit. So that's already an amazing thing going. Then we have at start of turn, unit can move 1 extra space. Okay, so here we are. We're already back to the part where we have base Yuri pretty much just mixed around, right? Instead of it being in his weapon now, it's in his C slot. So he's going to have extra movement. He's going to have Kanto 2 all the time. That's already really good. After start of turn skills trigger, if stall is active on unit, neutralizes the unit can move 1 extra space effect on the skill, inflicts -4 to all stats on foes within 2 spaces of unit during combat. Wow, okay. Wow, that's really good. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. So what they pretty much did is just made a new Yuri. This is just better Yuri, pretty much. In almost every way, I think that the only thing that is different really is that he is red now instead of colorless. Obviously, colorless is going to be typically better in most situations than red, just because you have a neutral matchup against everyone, while red you will have, you know, that disadvantage against blue. But even so, like, this unit seems really, really strong. 20% extra true damage on a Yuri, right? Like, on base Yuri, if you gave him 20% true damage, he's going to be way, way stronger. So this is already a very good sign. He's going to have a ton of power. The -4 to all stats is also really good. This is almost like a range skill, right, for Yuri, which is just going to give him more stats, which is going to allow him to double easier and deal more damage, which is really good. But the really big thing here, obviously, is the ability to cancel out stall. Because one of the things that really shut down Yuri's effectiveness, because at the beginning of last year, Yuri was one of the most meta units in the entire game. I would argue he was probably like top 3 in some of those, if not top 1. But what happened was we got Kanto control, which shut him down a bit, and then we also got Duo Thor, who gave stall out on a much more effective unit. We did have it on other units before, but having it on Duo Thor really changed everything up. So now that we can have a way to get around stall with Yuri, I think this unit's going to be amazing, right? This unit's going to be absolutely fantastic. When it comes to his roles, obviously he's going to be a big time nuke. That's going to be the main thing he's going to be doing. He's going to be really good at that, obviously, with the 20% true damage, which means that he's going to be really effective at running stuff like AoEs, or even just lethality. Getting extra 20% true damage to it is always nice. Having that damage reduction is also good because it's making it a little bit more difficult to kill him, because it means he's going to be able to get through and get the second hit in. Also, having offensive no fall in his weapon is really, really good because it means that his B slot is open for more flexible things like Special Spiral 4, like a lull, or whatever else you need in that B slot is going to be there. Special Spiral 4 is probably going to be his best option. And the reason for that is because his C skill is being used by a preference skill, right? So you don't have room to run Times Pulse or Times Pulse 4, which you really do need on base Yuri to get lethality into a point where you can actually get it off pretty easily. Now, in some duels, you can kind of play with cooldown and you don't need Times Pulse quite as much, but still, it's very nice to have. So the one thing Legendary Yuri might do a little bit worse is spam lethality, which means that if you can't spam lethality, what you actually want to do is give him Special Spiral 4 and then maybe give him a 2 cooldown special like Ruptured Sky. And what will be great about that is that you'll go in with the first hit, it will hit once, and then on the second hit, you'll get the Ruptured Sky with the damage reduction piercing, where you'll actually be able to do a ton of damage. So I think that's probably going to be the optimal way to build him. Now, once again, when it comes to his roles, he's going to be a nuke, which means that in game modes, he's probably going to be a hit and run unit. I could definitely see this unit being used in like Ether Red's offense as a hit and run with like an AoE build. You put like Disarm Trap in his B slot, you go in, you AoE, deal a ton of damage, kill everything, and then get out of there with Kanto. He'll also probably be a decent support in Ether Raids, right? Because you can use them for foul play. You go over onto a trap, you foul play a unit there, let them get in and like do their job essentially, typically like on a Gale Force team. Now when it comes to other game modes, maybe he's used on Ether Raids defense. I'm not completely sold on that, but it is possible. And of course the main game mode he's probably going to be used in is Summoner Duels. He's going to be an amazing nuke who's able to get around stall, which is a very big deal when you're going with this extra movement type of playstyle. Okay, let's jump into all the different colors, talk about which colors are the best and which ones you should be pulling on. Now, let's start with the red. So on red, obviously, you have Legendary Yuri, who's going to be a fantastic unit. But the units sharing with him are going to be Legendary Sigurd and Emblem, which is a big deal. Legendary Sigurd isn't quite as good as he once was, but he's still a fantastic unit, being able to offer that extra mobility through Holy Knight Aura to his allies and himself, right, which is really big. And then we also have Emblem, who is the anti-save defense mythic, which is a big deal. And this is her first rerun. So if you didn't have the chance to get her in November, now this is a great chance to get her. And the share is honestly pretty good here for red. Then we're going to go into blue. Blue, we have Harden, we have Note, and we have Keldori. Now, Harden is an interesting unit, but honestly, he's quite niche. I don't think he really stands out in the Lance Cav movement type. And Keldori is a very strong unit, but she just doesn't really fit into any type of meta spot right now. You can kind of use her as a Gale Forcer or something else in Ether Raids, but that's pretty much it. They both do have pretty good fodder. And then lastly, we have Note, the Dark Mythic. If you don't have Note, she's a decent Dark Mythic, but honestly, she's not as good as someone like Asmodeus, though Pathfinder is really strong, and she can work quite well in Summoner Duels with certain strategies. So overall, I think blue is kind of a skip here. It's not a really good share, and not something I would pull on. Then let's jump into a green. Green, we have Legendary Ninian, who I consider one of the best dancers in the entire game. She's super powerful and easily the best offensive dancer. She's great in a ton of different game modes. She's easily the best legendary in Arena at the moment, in my opinion, and she's amazing on Gale Force teams, and she's really good in Summoner Duels as well on certain strategies. Ascended Air is a good nuke, but honestly not my favorite. I do find that she sometimes just dies to things even with her Miracle Effect because she doesn't have full no follow. She can definitely be powerful in the right strategies, but overall I'm not too high on her. Her fodder is decent. You get attack speed finish and you get Mystic Boost 4, which is cool but kind of niche. And then lastly, we have Odor, who is a defensive mythic for Anima, and I just kind of find him underwhelming, to be honest. He can be used in Summoner Duels to an extent, but honestly, he's like one of the worst Anima mythics and not someone I ever actively use. And then lastly, we have Colorless, and Colorless is quite the share here. We have Medius first up, who is an amazing Dark Mythic, definitely one of the best meta Dark Mythics at the moment, thanks to On Guard, and he also comes with Cancel Control, which is a very meta impactful skill, so pulling Medius, if you don't have him, is a very big deal, and is going to be a great unit to pick up. And if you already do have him, you can sacrifice him for Cancel Control, which is a great skill to pick up as well. And then we have Asker, who's just a fantastic mythic unit. He's amazing on Gale Force teams, he's amazing in Summoner Duels, because he offers amazing support, and he's an amazing frontline unit who can take a lot of hits and deal a ton of damage. Just a fantastic mythic, one of the best easily. And then lastly, we have Gotor, our newest light mythic, who is a very solid unit. He offers that powerful AoE damage reduction buff to allies and as it himself as well, and he can function well as a tank if you want to use him that way, though you do have to be a bit careful because he doesn't get mythic buffs. When it comes to color sharing, I think actually Colorless might be the best here. You have 3 mythics who offer a ton of value. Asker and Gotor are going to help you get those mergers for light season, and the Medius is a fantastic dark unit. After that, I would have red, because Legendary Yuri is very powerful. Emblem has proven to be very powerful for her anti-save skills, and then Legendary Sigurd is also very good with his support. Under that, I'm going to have green. Legendary Ninian is very good, but then you also have the Dud of Odor. And then for me, Ascended Air is kind of in the middle where I'm not too mad that I got a copy of her, but I'm also not like super happy as well. And then lastly, we're going to have blue. I think blue's just a complete dud. I think you should just completely skip blue no matter what. Do not pull on that color. You're not going to be happy with what you get. Okay, let's move on to the Wind Legendary tier list. And I think I'm going to put Yuri up in S+. Now, where do I put him at? I think he's right next to the Veronica, probably, right above Eliwood. He's going to be just a really powerful unit. We've seen how good base Yuri is even nowadays, and he's an older unit now, and he just puts in so much work. So if you get a better version of that, I mean, the possibilities are just endless, right? This unit's going to be top tier in Arena and top tier in Summoner Duels. He has the potential to be one of the best nukes in the entire game, and so that puts him very high on this tier list. So let's move on to the final question, should you pull? And there's some great pros to this banner. First of all, you're getting Legendary Yuri, who's going to be an amazing nuke and is very powerful. He's going to be the bonus arena unit for an entire month, which means that if you care about staying in tier 21 or even like tier 20, he's going to make that extremely easy. We also have a great share in red and colorless, so you're going to get a lot of value for your orbs in those two colors in particular, especially if you're trying to get some mythic merges in colorless or some legendary merges in red. Now when it comes to con, obviously the Hero Rise banner is running right now, and if you're only sniping on red, that banner does have a lot of value, as you can get some very meta powerful units quite easily. We also have a new special Heroes banner coming up quite soon, and a new Heroes banner as well, which could be engaged, though that's starting to feel like copium because we just keep getting other games. So my answer to the question, should you pull, really comes down to what you are looking for right now. If you're looking for mythic merges or legendary merges, this is a great place to pick them up. But if you're trying to get more powerful fodder, or maybe trying to finish off a merge project like Legendary Veronica, then maybe you should stay on the Hero Rise banner. It does last a month, so you can like spend a lot of orbs there and get a ton of value, because there is 4 sparks. Also, if you're a big Engage fan and you're looking forward to those characters, then I wouldn't be spending orbs, because it's only a matter of time until the banner shows up, I'm hoping. Personally, I will be summoning on this banner, absolutely. I'm going to be going into red, going for that spark on Yuri, because I think he's going to be really fun to play with, just like the old Yuri. And I'll also be throwing some orbs into colors, hoping to get some merges on Asker, and maybe even Goto as well. But now I'd love to hear from you. What do you think of Legendary Yuri? Do you think he's going to be a fantastic unit? Do you think he's going to maybe break the meta again, like old Yuri did back in the day? Or would you just prefer to stay with your old Yuri because he's already maybe invested in? Either way, I'd love to hear from you, so make sure to drop a comment down below, letting me know what you think of Yuri, and if you're going to be pulling. Once again, I'd like to thank my members for all their support, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. This has been Oblivion. I'll catch you later.